You don't perform well in a leadership role in North America where you might just get up and maybe make up your bed and go to school.
I'll say young Black people. It teach you responsibility. It teach you that no matter what happened, if it's raining, if the sun is shining, the cows still have to eat.
That is something that a lot of people don't see, right? And that's essentially why I made that series. A lot of people see the finished product. Just like I said, with social media and all these things, you see the finished product, you see the highlight, your dishwasher, or you were a prep cook and you were in there cleaning. I'm sure that your staff, after you did that, they had so much respect for you because they knew, okay, well, David has my back. He's not gonna compromise on this thing.
I don't know if people would call this skills or you have to have an understanding of yourself.
You're not limited. We're not put in a box in what we can achieve. We can achieve whatever we set our minds to.
Your purpose in life is to be the best that you can be and to bring out your best ability.
Have you ever been stereotyped? Had your abilities doubted because of the color of your skin? Judged based on how you look before you even speak? If you have, this series is for you. Welcome to More Than an Athlete, More Than Entertainment. David.
Yes.
Tell us what you do, who you are, and what you do. And give yourself flowers, man. Don't sugarcoat anything.
Well, my name's David Marcus Charles, originally from the Caribbean, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I am a chef.
Okay.
I've worked in the industry for a long time, and you know when they say started from the bottom and reached to the top, I legitimately started from the bottom as a dishwasher and end up as the executive chef of my own restaurant.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about your childhood because, you know, did you always want to become a chef or, you know, did you just bounce up in a kitchen? Did you see like you were trying to cook for a girl or something like that and then you discovered your passion or whatever like that? What was it that led you to that? Because, you know, for example, for me, you know, basketball and sports and stuff like that, obviously Uncle Bumba, he brought basketball to Union Island. My dad played basketball, so being around it, watching Space Jam all the time, being around it, I found a passion for basketball. So what was it for you? And tell me a little bit about your childhood and tell me what led you into culinary.
My childhood, growing up, when certain things happen to you, you would think that it's punishment, or you would think that it's, how should I say, is not wanted, as in, you feel you're doing too much because every morning you have to be up crack of dawn. From the time that fowls start crowing, you got to be up. There's no sleeping in, and that's everyone. And by the time you get up at 5:30, your grandmother already up, made breakfast already. So for us, it was a way of life. You get up in the morning, you have cows to look after, you have pigs to look after, you have sheep, you have goat, your chicken, you gotta let.
So if the chicken they're gone out, they gone on the road, you have to go hunt chicken and come back and
you
bring it
gotta
back?
hunt them, but if they don't want to come in, that's okay. Next morning, you're just gonna see feathers and bones. Something or someone is gonna eat them.
Okay.
So
So that's obviously different than growing up in North America, because North America we're not having goats and tying goats and sheep and cattle and stuff like that. So do you think it bred a different type of responsibility and a different type of character and traits in you, or work ethic in you, to have to do that back home and getting up early, go change the goats or the sheep or the cattle, getting your boy it is, as they'll say. That's different than in North America where you might just get up and maybe make up your bed and go to school. So do you think that helped you later on in your life?
it helped me a lot, and it teach you responsibility. It teach you that no matter what happened, if it's raining, if the sun is shining or not shining, the Caribbean don't have snow. But if it's snow, it doesn't matter because the cows still have to eat. The cows still have to get water to drink. You still got to get up and do, we call it chores up here. But back home, we just call it life. And it's not me who just did it, everyone who did it. If you have girls in the family, boys in the family, young, old, everyone is doing something to help provide for the family. So for me, I can do everything
Yeah.
in life that either a man can do,
Yeah.
a woman can do. There is no rule. So
Yeah.
in my upbringing and in my relationship now with my wife, there is no, I'm a man, so I supposed to just do this and you do that as a woman and that's it.
So that made you very versatile then, essentially.
Yeah, most importantly is reading the room.
Yeah.
If you cannot read the room, then you're going to get stuck behind. So you got to understand what needed to be done today from you might be needed to be done the next day. Maybe a wife can do that because of the situation. Because at the end of the day, if my wife is sick and she cannot do certain things, what am I going to do? Well, I'm a man. I shouldn't be doing laundry, so got to figure it out.
Yeah.
No, you have to take care of your family. So growing up in our household home, you understand that life is living and doing the necessary steps you need to do to provide for your family.
No, I really like that because I think that's important because I think especially how you go about your life is about your foundation. If you have a great foundation and you had a great foundation, it taught you a lot of skills that would then allow you to excel in, and not only in life, but in your career as well. And I'm sure that's going to come back up too as well. So if someone was looking on the outside from your journey, what's something that they might miss? You know, for example, I'll give you an example. Like, we live in a world where it's tons of social media, dominated by social media. And on social media, you can see the highlights. So they might see, okay, Chef David, he has his own restaurant, he's a head chef and stuff like that. But they might not see the other things that went into that journey, right? So tell me something that people would miss if someone was looking on the outside at your journey, what they might miss.
So it's not just school and then you become a head chef. This is a different avenue where it's a hierarchy. So it's a lot of steps. It's a lot of time, a lot of patience, and you have to have that ability to adapt because for me, I never thought I would be in a position I am.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I never thought that being a prep cook, you'd be standing all day just peeling carrots and onion. When you finish, no matter when you shower, you still can smell the onions on your skin or the garlic. But it's part of the growing aspect of it.
See, so I love that you said that because that is something that a lot of people don't see, right? And that's essentially why I made that series and now I made that podcast is because the grind theory. A lot of people see the finished product, just like I said with social media and all these things. You see the finished product, you see the highlight.
Yeah.
You say, okay, well, boy, David is a big chef now. You know, he's catering, he's working at these high profile places. He has his own restaurant, but you're not seeing the times when, like you're saying, you were a dishwasher or you were a prep cook and you were in there cleaning. Now, sometimes you might not even have got to even get close to the dishes that were getting cooked. You just cutting up the onions, cutting up the vegetables, and that's it, right? And so what's really cool about your journey and what I think is really important is to show that it's not just it's not an overnight thing. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of dedication, right? And I think that even in your upbringing, right, from being back in United Island, being in St. Vincent, how you grew up, it also kind of helped pave some of the skill sets that you have and some of the patience and the responsibility that you have to be able to have that work ethic to be able to move forward in your career. So speaking about your journey, right? Speaking about your journey and how you went from where you were to how you are here, give me a little bit more insight into that journey. So you started from a dishwasher, right? How were you able to work your way up to head chef where you have your own establishment?
For me, it was a end goal. And my end goal was never to be in a position where I have a resume and it's say, oh, he worked with this chef in this restaurant and for how long, and he can manage and run this restaurant. My end goal was to have my own. So at the end of the day, I couldn't go back to the places that I have worked in and use that experience. So I've worked in fine dining.
Okay.
I've worked in casual dining, worked in takeout. I've been a chef at an Italian restaurant, been a chef at a French restaurant. I've done banquet, done catering. I've worked on resort, worked on yachts. Worked in the States, had food truck, worked in California, worked in the Caribbean. We get ready for dinner service. And one dinner service, like I said, is all about the show. But prior to that is work, when you have to make 100 to 200 ravioli this size from scratch, right? That don't take 5-10 minutes. That take all day, and then that's all you're doing. Your job might just be doing that all day if you got to make fresh pasta from scratch. So these are things that a lot of people don't understand and know. But from my upbringing, I take that off my mind as in, oh, this is a lot of work. I got to sit there and make this all day. No, because once you get good at it, when you doing your own thing now, you can look back and say, there's a reason I did all of that, because it takes steps to reach where I am.
I like that. Something that, I talked to about with Devon that's important is emotional control, or having emotional control, being able to control your emotions. Because I think a lot of times everything comes down to decisions, the decisions that you make. That one time you have an outburst, that one outburst could make you lose your job or change everything, end up in jail. Like this from one little emotional outburst. So being able to control your emotions, but it's easier to control your emotions if you know what you want and what you don't want. So having that end goal and knowing that, hey, I want this. This is not if I react this way, this might deter me from getting this. So it gives you a little bit of perspective and helps you to keep you aligned and grounded.
Let me not cut you off. That respect factor, like you said, being able to control your emotions. I was in a situation where I was managing a restaurant, and the way it is every day, every night, used to have communication through email. The email goes to all the chef, all the front of house managers, the owners, CEO, everyone gets that email. And my staff is either you love me or you hate me. If you hate me, that means you don't do work. Because I'm fair to everybody, no matter who you are. If you're a friend, I hire you as a friend, or you're my mother, I hire you. You have to do whatever you're being paid for, you have to do. There's this young girl, she used to be my supervisor. Anything I need, she's there. If I need someone to come in, no matter if she just reached home from work, she's back. My number one go-to. And one day, an email, it came in a night where another manager sent a harsh email about she in a smoking area for, in the past 3 hours, she was there 3 times. My question is, that area is only a smoking area. You're a manager. Why are you in that area 3 times? Seeing it. And most importantly, she wasn't there 3 times. She was there twice. And she allowed, I think every 4 hours, they allowed 1 smoke break. I allow her to go 2. You know why? Because I am managing her. I know why I sent her there. Because she went for a smoke break. She came back and it was almost closing time. And I asked who wanted to go home early. She said, can I go home early? So but I know how she is. When she goes for a smoke break, when she comes back, quick, clean up, boom. So I go, you want to go for a smoke? She goes, no, I just went for a smoke break. I said, no, go get a smoke break, please. I sent her. She didn't ask. She went to get a smoke break. When she come back, you tell me, look, everything clean, gone home. That man just sent an email to her about her, to the whole team. I read in the night on my way to work, I couldn't think. During service, I couldn't function. Couple of my cooks said, Chef, you okay? What's going on? I just couldn't function. So I said to another supervisor I have, can you take over for me, please? I need to go outside. I need a mental break. I went outside and I can't remember, I could never remember myself typing so fast. I went on the phone and I sent the email. And when I done, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get fired. But at the end of the day, I have principle and respect for myself. And most importantly, my team belongs to me. You can't come in that kitchen as a owner or anybody and cuss my staff. Cuss me. I can take it. Oh, they're behind, chips, whatever the case is, food's going on bad, that's all up to me because I'm managing them. Cuss me, because if you cuss them, they'll feel they can't take it. I'm trained for that. But once you disrespect my staff like that, you disrespected me because I'm managing them. So what you're saying is I cannot manage. And I was a 10-time better manager than her. So I made sure I sent that email. And next day, bright and early, after I sent that email, restaurant busy, 2 managers running. Did you mistake and send an email? I go, what email? I said, I don't make mistakes. Whatever you see is what you see.
Yeah.
Next day, the head chef, the corporate chef came in. He said, don't talk to me. I said, I don't need no lecture. You're going to fire me. Don't give me no lecture. Because you know who I am. And you didn't know what happened. But that email tells you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But you didn't need to send it. I said, no lecture. It's either I'm fired or I'm not fired. If I'm not fired, you can talk to me. If I'm fired, do not speak to me. Because I was so angry. I had no issue. I had no,
regrets or anything like that.
No regrets.
Yeah.
Because if I regretted it, then I mean I did something wrong.
Yeah.
No. Up to this day, I would do that 100 times over and over again. And it made me into a better manager.
I'm sure that your staff, after you did that, they had so much respect for you because they knew, okay, well, David has my back. He's not going to compromise on this thing. This is how he is. And then also, the thing that you said about your body is too precious to take in that the mental negativity that somebody else might put on you. The same thing with the stereotypes. If somebody say, oh, well, this guy, he doesn't know how to be in a leadership role, or he can't make certain cuisines, right? So that actually leads me into the segment that I want to do, which is called Breaking the Stereotype. Now, I'm going to ask my man Aiden here to help me and give me a bowl of some stereotypes. This is what we're going to do, okay, David? So you're going to get a bowl of, I'm going to have a bowl here. And in this bowl, thank you. So in this bowl, I'm going to have a bunch of stereotypes that you would have potentially encountered in your culinary career or just in life, right? And what we're going to do is you're going to take this stereotype, right? You're going to open it up. You're going to read it, right? You're not going to tell me what it is quite yet. You're going to read it, and then you're going to ball it back up, and you're going to shoot it into this trash can.
I have to make the shot?
You have to make the shot. I mean, because if you don't make the shot, then you didn't break the stereotype. So I mean, so you know, I'm counting on you because I know you got a basketball background as well. So I mean, I put a lot of money on you right now to make this shot, right?
No problem.
So you're gonna shoot this shot into the bin, and then we're gonna take it out and we're gonna read it, and we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about this, right? And how you would have either dealt with this stereotype and how you kind of discarded it or broke free from it. Okay.
So I read it and keep it to myself, and then after I shoot it, then you take it out and read it?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, 2.
See, look at that. No, you keep that one too.
Oh, okay.
Keep that one too. That might be a sign. You get 2 shots. You got to hit at least 50%.
Ooh, 50%. Boy, better than most people out there. So let's do one at a time. Okay.
No, don't lean forward, you know. Don't lean forward, you know, to get closer to shorten the distance, you know.
One take? One chance? Okay. Wrist movement.
Okay.
One shot. Which one? One shot. One.
Yeah.
No, don't hit. 50%. I know I good. 100%, boy. Poof. All right. Okay. All right. Repetition. Muscle memory. Is that what they say? Muscle memory? Good enough.
Good enough.
50%.
All right. So we're gonna take them out. That was a good job. You know, you had to go through some defense there on that last one.
My boys can't say I can't shoot better than 50%. You can't do it.
There's a small rim there too, you know. So, all right. So, fine. So the first one that I have here, David, is you don't perform well in a leadership role.
Yeah, they are. There's been that stereotype around on I'll say young black people, because if you look at the NFL, you look at football, the major leadership role in football is the quarterback. And for years, what do you used to say about that?
You can't process that
No matter
information
how good
fast
they are,
enough.
there wasn't. First of all, I wasn't even getting the chance to do it. So you couldn't show it. If you ever think about you want to be a quarterback, you're not on this team unless you're doing something else. And if you look at the league now, not just one, not just two, not just three. If you say the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, more than 50%, 60, 70% of them, man them who look like me. That's one of the ultimate leadership role in professional sports. Because say the quarterback is the one that control and dictates everything. And they're not just doing it for the sake of doing it. They're doing it as the highest level. So for me, it was, I never used to hear it, but it used to kind of, I guess, in the young going in terms of me being dishwasher, prep cook growing up, you didn't understand certain things, you're just going with it. But it's when you reach to the point where you're supposed to be in that leadership role now, and you understand and seeing certain things, and it used to bother you until you speak to certain people and like, well, you're not supposed to be doing certain things. So for me, it was, okay, no problem. Now, what do I need to do to be in that leadership role? I was told, like, at one point I had dreads in my hair. And
Naughty.
I had I just came off, I'd left Vancouver, came back to Toronto, and I was just, you go through a little phase, you dread in your hair. And then I was looking for, because I came back as a chef. So I was looking for another chef position. I've had my own family members again saying to me that you have to cut your dreads because you're not going to get a manager role as a chef unless you're looking for a Caribbean restaurant. Because my background was casual, fine dining, Italian, French, cuisine. So for me, it was like, okay, guess she's right. But then it was like, no. Me being who I am was like, no. So I made sure that I looked to get what I wanted for me. And I got a head, because for me, it was just a phase for the dread. But when I get a head chef in role, I never cut my dreads. I kept it. And I said to myself, I wasn't going to keep it until I see that individual. And not say nothing to them, as in, oh, look, you see, I get the job. But just more of, where I'm working. You still see my hair. I don't need to say nothing. It wasn't about you. It was about me. And the more challenges I get in life, the more I say to myself, that's okay. And I made sure I reached into a position where I was a head chef. And I made it, and I was in a role where I was leading people because I came from a role where I was leading people. I was in Vancouver during the Olympics. Do you know how busy that was? We had overnight staff, overnight chef, prepping, doing this. There was no days off.
That's a big stage there too. That's not a small stage.
And I was in a position where I was cooking for, you can say celebrities, you can say most of the stars, in terms of when every other night the hockey players from the Canada team used to come into my restaurant. Wayne Gretzky himself, not showing names. I cooked with him and his family during the Olympics. I did that. Not to say I'm bigger than nobody else. It's the fact that I was in a position where I could have done that, and that is a leadership role. I was responsible for managing about over maybe 60 staff during that period of time. Where on a given night, there used to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 to 14 staff where everyone had to listen to me. And it was casual dining and everything was to order. So it's not like you're making food and waiting to put up. So it's like, put up table 45, put up table 6. I need a pasta now. I need this now. I need this now. I need you to go over it. I need this. And that was me. And I reached to that level because of me and because of who I am and because of, like you said, the stereotype that I shouldn't be in that position. I was in that same restaurant. I was cooking, an Italian lady. It's an open concept, but people was, you can see me cooking. You can see the dishes. If something fall, if you burn yourself, if you need to wash your hands, people are seeing that. And an older Italian lady asked me, "How does it feel to be a chef at an Italian restaurant?" Because I shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And all I said to her was, because I'm qualified. And I walk away. I didn't engage in no other conversation because I can hear and feel where she was coming from.
Right.
And I don't have time to entertain that. I didn't need to answer her, but because of the person who I am, I would answer you with respect. I ain't gonna disrespect you. I respect you, but you felt my answer. I didn't need to argue with you or certain things. So that's where it comes about for me in leadership, where I know I can do it and we can do it. Once we're in a position, if you look at sports or entertainment in general, not just sports, but in CEO offices, once we get an even playing field, most of the time we end up on top.
Yeah, because there's no difference. There's no difference between us. There's no difference between us or any other race or any other person.
It's just people.
It's just people.
And your work ethic is what make you to be in a certain level. We can all go to school and do the job and graduate from school. But at the end of the day, how much work did you put in? How much time did you put in? Did you practice 1 day a week? Or did you practice 2 times in a day, where another gentleman is practicing 5 times in that 1 day? At the end of the year, he practiced how much more time than you? Right? I got 66 more time than you. He practiced. He can be better than you.
And it comes back to that grind, that same grind, that thing that people don't see, right? That thing that people don't see, the time, the effort that you put into your craft, right? You have been working from dishwasher to prep cook to second cook to line cook. You essentially done all the every stage it is in culinary, right? To come to a head chef. They don't see that work that you would have put in. And they don't know about what you would have put in or what you would have done and the skills that you would have acquired to be able to be a head chef, right? Somebody might see you and they might just perceive, well, he shouldn't be there, or maybe he's an assistant or a help, right?
And not just that, is you got to realize too, is you're the one who put in the work in. So nobody's really seeing it, right? So at the end of the day, you have to make sure. For example, I wanted to be a head chef. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I wanted to be it. Now, as a head chef, I cannot tell you how long it takes to wash that dish unless I know how to wash that dish. I cannot tell you how to grill that steak if I don't know how to grill that steak. Right? So for me, any station I work, I make sure I'm not just the best, but I master it. Not the master of it, but I master that station. So at the end of the day, when I'm training, I can train you in terms of, this is how you put the steak, this is how you turn it, why you rotate it. You put your salt here, you put your pepper there because of why. You put oil on the steak first because why. There's a reason for everything. So back to that leadership role is you have to be able to lead. I cannot lead you to the well if I don't know how to get there. It makes no sense. I will get lost. So at the end of the day, if I don't know it, I can't teach you. I've been in a position and I've seen chefs who they tell you what to do. They can tell you what to do, but let them do it. Ask them to do it. They can't do it because they read it in a book. Right? They never experience it. Most of them never experienced washing dishes. You can put me along anybody when it comes to washing dishes. I want to master it. No, you can put me beside someone to say cook steak. Yeah, you can master steak probably better than me because you work in a steakhouse for 20 years. Right? I'm not the best at everything. I'm the best for myself in my ability. But when it comes to certain things, I don't think a dishwasher they can wash dish better than me. But I know there's a cook out there who can cook better than me. There's someone who can grill steak better than me or cook a lobster better than me. So it's for me, it's not about being better than anybody else. It's about being the best
Version of yourself.
version of myself. But I know I'm a good dishwasher. I keep saying it,
that,
but
yeah.
no matter how you think dishwasher is, they're very important. Very, 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 very important. And if you look at what I'll mention this a couple of times too, in terms of the whole aspect of the hierarchy in the kitchen. Not because you're a dishwasher mean you need to lower the food chain.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, you're just as important as the chef.
Yeah.
The chef can do nothing without you.
Yeah.
So everybody's a team. You work hand in hand. So.
In the culinary profession, right? A lot of times I hear that, the stereotype that a lot of times they help or they can't be in leadership roles or they're not going to be the chef, right? So do you feel like in the culinary profession that Black people are represented fairly or visibly?
I mainly could speak on my experience.
From your experience, yeah?
I wouldn't say equally or fairly. I look at it as sometimes you can easily say, oh, you get what you put up.
Okay.
Or whatever you put out is what you get. So for me, I know I personally have been in a position where I was unfairly treated. I didn't go to school for culinary. I was just managing because of my work ethic. I moved to another restaurant and become a prep chef, become a this or that, and I'm managing a restaurant. And so to go home for reunion, I couldn't go because I managed this restaurant, and I couldn't leave because I'm a hotshot manager, and the boss wanted to open another restaurant. He wanted me to help manage my two restaurants. So I feeling
nice now,
yeah. So I'm managing, and then I really want to go for a reunion because my grandfather meant everything for me. And then when my family came back 2 weeks after, they fired me. And they fired me for something that there's two other managers, not what it is, two white managers do the same thing all the time. And all of a sudden when I do it now, they fire me for that. I was distraught. I was like, gosh. I felt I couldn't do nothing. I felt I can't get a job nowhere now because I ain't qualified, I ain't this, I ain't that. And my mom's like, it's about time. I've been telling you to go back to school for years now. Go back to school for cooking. But you don't want to do it because you're comfortable there. So it's like,
you get a little wake up.
Like tough love. It's like, take that.
Yeah.
She didn't say it that way. I know she wouldn't say it and she wouldn't mean it. But it was more of, now it's chance for you to do it. So I went back to school and I got my education. And then after I got it, after that happened to me, I was so distraught. I said I would never have a job, hold my head to the fire again. And because of my education now, you can find me all you want.
Yeah, I could go.
I can cook anywhere, my dear. I put my own restaurant. I can do whatever I want. I don't need your validation to keep me on your payroll for you to treat me another way. I can leave and get another job because one thing I realized with this world, every single soul in this world needs what in their life? Might be every day, but in general, they need food. So even though it's in pill form or it's in liquid form as in protein shake or anything, is a chef that helped create that. So I'm always going to be needed. And if not, I have a family that I need to provide for in terms of they need to eat. And I can make dishes that other people out there cannot make for them. And I'm blessed with that. So the education did that. So for me, in your position, if you had the education prior,
then they could,
right? You can be like,
okay,
well, now you have to give it to me, or now I don't need you now. I can go to another company and get it done. Or you could have just take it and go to school in the meantime. And then once you're done, it's like, pay me this or I'm gone.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right though. You're absolutely right.
I have to learn from something. You have to learn from your mistake. Yeah, and that was my mistake.
Speaking about learning from your mistake, what is a moment, either it could be in your life or in your career journey, what would you say was the biggest obstacle that you would have faced, and what did you learn from it? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about life? What did you learn from it?
Where people keep telling you that this is kind of not your path or this not for you. And they're telling you maybe not directly, but sometimes indirectly.
Give me an example.
I had a male figure in my life when I finished high school. In our family, most male electrician. And when I finished high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Young, I just want to play sports.
Of course, yeah.
Sports and girls, that's it. She was like, you need to go to school and be electrician. I go, I mean, the furthest I know about electrician is I used to, back in the day, back home, I used to take radio apart, take the tape, the one to spin the tape, take that out, and then I make like a fan, put on my boat.
Okay.
And I go on my way on my little small boat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's the most I know.
Yeah.
So she went to a male figure of mine, which is a family member as well, and said, I want to know about OSAP. And he said, why are you going to waste the government money on David? And my mom is like, all right, not F you, but no problem. I'm still going to get it done without you. Because she asked, because you know what you're supposed to do as a sister? You ask a big brother, right? Or you ask your uncle, or you ask your grandmother, your mother, or whoever in your life, maybe a neighbor, maybe a friend, maybe someone who did it prior.
Yeah,
right?
Example,
and, yeah. So for her, it was like, all right, no scene. And she told me it late in life. And I was like, no problem. But I had no problem with that individual. Still, no problem. But it's just that when you hear things like that, it makes you feel uneasy. Like, what did I do to get this treatment? Is it because of my skin? Is it because I started to be a thug? I shouldn't have a higher career than, a good career that you have, or maybe you're gonna have kids one day and your kid should have. I should only be here. So for me, that was kind of my, okay, it's about me now kind of thing. And it's about what I need to do for me, for my life, because I know what type of life I wanted for my life.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I like that. So like, for example, like, I want to say, what was the moment that you realized, I think it's kind of similar to that moment right there that you're talking about, is what was the moment that you realized that what success could look like? For example, like for me, it's funny because I think that moment might be right now, right? In this moment, like before this, I was as an athlete, just like you, basketball, football, I had my scholarships, and I had an injury that kind of derailed that part of my career, right? And up until then, my whole identity was tied to being an athlete.
Yeah.
Right. That's how everyone know me as an athlete. That's what I identified myself as. So success for me, in my view, was to be a professional, to be in the league.
Yeah.
And so when that got derailed, it was very hard for me to figure out a new way of what success could look like. But in this, I think the moment for me is right now, because in this moment, I'm able to work in this project, more than an athlete, more than an entertainer, and I'm getting to work with my family. I'm interviewing my cousin, right, who is a chef. I have my cousins who are also filming in the background, Devon, and my little brother who's also filming, and then we have Paul. So it's really cool because I'm getting to see how I'm in a whole different avenue, but I can still have success in this avenue, and I'm going to do it with the people that I care about, people that I love. So I think this is a moment for me to realize that what success could look like. Success could look like me being able to do these opportunities more and doing it with my family. For you, was there a moment where you realized that what success could look like for you?
Well, before I answer that question, and like you said with the set too, this is a professional set. So it's not a little corner in the in the alleyway podcast with your phone, and there's the professional money set, not no, right? So let's get that straight.
Big up, Paul, and big up Devon Codrington.
Right. Let's get that straight.
L50, big up L50.
For me, it was...
Shout out to the little bro too, Aiden Ambrose.
Doing his thing. For me, it's a couple of things. Goal-oriented success for me is... The success was based on me, and I deem it successful. Not where people say, "Oh, you're successful now." So, no.
I like that.
I determine what my success is because I know where I came from and where I wanted to be, and when I reach here, then I'll be like, "All right." I can look myself in the mirror and say, "I'm not successful as in okay, I'm done. I'm the top of the world." I made it to where I wanted to go from all the hardship and the people who are around me who was close enough, who understand me, knew where I came from. They might know where I wanted to go, but they see where I am and say, boy, all right, he is success. And I'm on a name drop, and if this person see it, great. If they don't see it, this will end up seeing it because I'll make them see it. A gentleman who knew me from since I came to this country in 1991. His name is Al Cudgington. That's Devon's father, the producer of L50, his father.
Yep.
And over the years, he has seen my ups and downs.
Yeah.
Me and him have had issues, not big issues, but issues, whatever it is. An older gentleman in the family have issues. That was my cousin, that's his father. And he always say to me, I look up to you in terms of I admire your passion, your drive, your ability to stay within yourself, where he see how certain people are in my life, close circle, and you see how they treat me, and you see how they look at me. And for him, he used to say, no, that is not something you're about. And you're going to overcome it, and I see you overcoming it. And he always used to step by step. He said, I'm proud of what you're doing. And he said, you know what success is going to be? He said, you're going to make it one day. I know what your success is going to be. When you're at a restaurant and your name is at the door, Executive Chef David Charles, and people have to book an appointment to come see you. I was like, in my head, yeah, whatever. I didn't say it like that, but you're like, when you're looking up to someone near you say, yeah, like you really was paying attention. But you young boy, you weren't paying attention. You're like,
my focus on a different thing.
You're talking shit with us, right? So I end up in Saskatchewan, and I got featured in a magazine.
Okay.
And at the restaurant, my name was under my office door. In the front of the restaurant, my name was there, Executive Chef David Charles, and on the billboard, my name was there. And when I see that, I'm like, this is what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So, but to be honest, it didn't click at that point. When it clicked was when I was in the office doing some paperwork. And I think it was Cisco. Cisco is a food company. One of the other manager came and knocked on my door and said, Cisco's here, your appointment at 12:30 is here. I'm like, okay, I closed it. I'm like, I didn't realize I had an appointment. I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, I remember that conversation. It was the appointment. And Cisco is $1 million company. He had to book an appointment. And he had to wait for me. And I can rebook it and say, come back tomorrow. And he would have to come back tomorrow. And when I realized, it's like you start thinking, the wheel starts spinning. I want to take a picture of the door of my office, take a picture of the front door in the restaurant and the billboard, and I sent it to Al. And I said I wasn't going to go out there to the meeting until I talked to him. And I sit there, and I was in there for like maybe half hour, 45 minutes, while he out there waiting for me. When I finally talked to him, I told him, he goes, I told you. When I went back out, the first thing he said to me, sorry to bother you.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know he wants my business.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he booked the appointment.
Yeah.
I booked the appointment for like maybe 12:30.
Yeah.
12:45, maybe after 1 is when I see him. The first thing he said is, sorry to bother you, I'm not keeping you. So that, to me, that
imagine.
was success.
Yeah. No, I can imagine that.
So that's my level of success. Yeah, it was me feeling it, where I know success is for me, but at the same time is what he had told me years before, and it came true. And so that's something that I always respect him for, because it's like he see it
Before you could even see it.
before I see it, because I didn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
I was just a cook, just want to get up there and work here and work there and work everywhere, because I was traveling. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy working here this for 6 months, for a year. Next thing you go pick up, you go somewhere else and worked all over Canada, in the States, different things. So for me, it was just traveling to work. So that meant a lot from me, coming from him. The fact that he saw what my journey was, so he understand my journey.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just me trying to be, oh look, I make it now and everybody look at me on the ship.
Yeah.
No, people see the hard work that I have been through. So.
I love about that. I mean, big up Uncle Al. But the one thing I love about that is that you had somebody within your circle that was able to inspire you and to kind of just to also show you what was possible for yourself. You're like, hey, I see you here with your name on top of this billboard as the own executive chef. And that's the same kind of impact that I want to have with this interview. When people see you and they hear your story, a young black boy or a young black girl that's out there that says, hey, I want to get into the culinary arts. And then they say, okay, well, there's going to be some obstacles that I might have to face. But now they see how they can overcome different ways that you would have encountered different stereotypes, and you've been able to disregard them and move past them, right? Not let them stop you. Because you could have easily said, oh, well, they said I can't be in an authoritative role, or I can't cook certain cuisines, or I can only be a dishwasher, but you could let that stop you. But you didn't let that stop you. And you were able to have your own restaurant, be the executive chef, be a head chef, right? So with that, as a black head chef, right, for having to navigate through the obstacles, what is the one you think most important skill for you to have that helps you navigate? I remember when we were talking, you mentioned patience, right? Having patience. I don't know if that is the skill that you're going to say, but what is the skill that you think that helps you to navigate through that?
I don't know if people would call this skills or what they may call it, but for me is you have to have an understanding of yourself. If you don't understand yourself,
say that again, dude. Say that again.
you have to have an understanding about yourself.
I like that.
If you don't know about yourself, why you need to know about anything else? Because you were born by yourself, and the one person who will always be with you from the time you were born till you die is you. Nobody else. You have your wife just came in the picture. You have your mother, right? Your mother maybe was away for a period of time, you wasn't living together. After 18, 20, 24, you move out. Where is she? She at her house, you at your house. But you is with yourself for your whole entire life. So have an understanding about your capability, and most importantly is start, finish. You know where you start, you don't know where you're going to finish. But you have to have an understanding where you want to finish. So if I want to finish here, what path I need to take. So I might need to take certain things on my shoulder. I have broad shoulders, I can take weight.
Hey, that's a bar. Jeez.
I can take weight.
That's a bar.
Right? Hey, it's what it is. I have broad shoulders. Right? I have island shoulders. Hot sun shoulders.
Vinci and Nyonya shoulders.
Conch's shoulders. You understand? So I can take certain things, but it's not compromising my structure I have for myself. You can't get through certain aspects, right? One thing your parents or my wife said all the time, you're hard-headed. I go, yes. If I wasn't hard-headed, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Right? I might have had some 2, 3, 4 baby mama drama. Hey, I'm cute, sorry. Right? 3, 4, 5, 6 baby mama drama. Right? Because I was hard-headed. I didn't want that for my life. Right? I needed to change certain narrative about my life that people expected of me and what, your father was, this person was, that person was. So it was all about me in life. People can say, oh, he's a very selfish individual. Yes, I am.
You know what? I'm not even going to follow that up because that was everything that was nice. That was crisp. I like that. I like everything you said there. What's kind of moving into like legacy, the legacy that you want to leave, right? And the legacy and how you want to empower the next generation, right? You have kids, what's one thing that you're the proudest of yourself for?
Are we talking about in culinary or in general?
In culinary and in general.
In general is the relationship I have with my mother. It's not it's so special or it's so amazing. It's just the relationship. Can't explain it. I have a relationship with my mother. There's nothing else to put in between that. People can say a lot of things. The relationship aspect I have with my mom is something that no one can get in between. And I have 3 kids. I have a wife and my mother. The kids cannot come in between my relationship with my mother and my wife. My mother can't come in between relationship with my wife and my kids. My wife cannot come in relationship between my kids and my mother. Nobody can do it. It's only I can make the determination. You can't do that. My kids can't tell me, oh, you can't talk to your grandmother no more because X, Y, and Z. I'm your father. I'm the adult here. I decide that. So for me, yes, the relationship with my mother, but most importantly, the relationship I have with my wife and my kids. My kids, them, is everything. And I cannot leave. I have to sneak out the house as a big grown man. I have to sneak out the house for my kids.
Yeah.
All 3 of them. One just turned 1 2 months ago. One turning 3 next month. One 6 years old. What kind of life am I living? I have to sneak out the house. Because if I leave without them, it's hell to pay. It's trouble. When I come back home, they're still mad. This one's still crying. This one's still unhappy. And the little one, he's a little bit naive, so he don't know nothing. I still get my love.
So what's the legacy that you want to leave behind in culinary? What's the legacy you want to leave behind in your family? And what's the legacy you want to leave behind for the culture, as the Black culture, your culture, as being Vincentian from the Caribbean? I want it for those 3.
In no particular order. I saw this quote, and it says, I'm no longer content, right? Just sneaking through the door, right? I don't need to sneak through no door. I'm a big man now, right? I'm going to put my foot, right? I'm going to put my foot in it and hold the door open that the young Black chef can walk behind me. I saw this, I'm like, huh?
I love that.
And then when I think about it, I'm like, but it's things I've been doing. Right? But you never have it in a quote. You never really think about it in that aspect. So for me is break the stereotype and have an avenue where, because I do teach. I used to teach in Vancouver.
Okay.
But eventually that's one of my ultimate goals, to start teaching young Black kids in this space.
I love
where they can teach them not just the cooking technique, but how to navigate certain aspects, because I wouldn't be in the kitchen for them for the whole entire career. Right? So how to navigate certain things. So for me, that's kind of like one of my goals. For family-wise, I want, and my kids already kind of feel that way, where it's like they don't feel comfortable and they don't feel happy living in this life without me. Do you understand what I mean? They don't feel happy and comfortable living in this life without me. Not to say I'm a superstar, but I'm the greatest dad for them. I'm not a dad for nobody else. I am not the best dad in the world, but I'm the greatest dad for them.
Yeah. And that's important, especially because you have daughters.
Oh yeah,
especially
so
important
for
that.
me, that's one of the things that they haven't said, but you can see by certain things, and you can see by the actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
They might know how to formulate that answer or formulate that statement, but by the action, I can feel it and I can see it. So the most important thing is for that, and for my wife, is just the respect. Respect our husband for being what he's supposed to be and what he is, and he's true to himself. For my mother to be proud, which I know she is, but just to be proud, whatever in between.
Yeah.
Once you're proud of your son, there's nothing else to say. And for the young, if it's a young black man or young black kids, it's just most importantly, just have that belief in we can do whatever we want. People say it all the time.
I love that.
So for me is, you can, say, oh, if you want to be a president, you can be the president. Stop with that stupidness. No, you can't. The president, the prime minister, them is already, they say, ordained or written in stone. Do whatever you put your mind to and you think is achievable, go at it. Remember, only you think, because I don't say put your mind to something, but you think you can do it.
Yeah.
What you think you can achieve, once you put your mind to it and you think you can achieve it, you go at it and you can achieve it. Yeah. But don't tell me you want to be the president of the United States or Canada or prime minister of Canada. Because I will tell you, the one time in your life, I'll say, forget that dream, please.
The one thing that you said that I liked, right, is that and that's why I really, really like this concept and what we're doing here, is because a lot of times if you can see it, then you can achieve it. Once you see, okay, I see that David Charles was able to become a head executive chef. He's able to have his own restaurant. He's able to do catering. Now that I see the example, I know that it's possible. And that's really what I want to do. I really want to showcase, and it's great that you want to teach and that you have been teaching the youth and mentoring them, because you're showing them that it's possible to achieve that. That they can do, now they've seen the example, it is possible to do that. And yes, their experience might be a little bit different. They might have to go through a bunch of different hurdles and navigate those things, but it is possible, and then they can do it. Whatever they put their mind to, they can accomplish. Right?
But they have to be, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
They have to be careful of their dream.
Of their dream.
Because like you say, because I see it, mean I can do it. Barack Obama was the president of the United States. The main thing is be realistic. I am not shutting down nobody's dream.
Yeah.
But your dream have to be realistic, make sense, but most importantly, read the room. Reading the room meaning, the Prime Minister of the United States, I good. That's reading the room saying that's not for me, ain't gonna happen. Being a chef, being a CEO of a 500 company, or owning my own hotel or restaurant, it might be struggle, but it's achievable, right? Because there's a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
You can own your private island.
Yeah.
Just need money and connection.
Yeah.
It can happen, but just be careful of what your dream is, because a lot of dreams are just meant for you to fail. Because you push at something that you know is not going to happen, you can end up failing. Don't do that to yourself. So I'd rather you be achievable. So
I want you to finish this sentence for me, right? So summarizing everything that you've talked about, you've talked about your journey from small beginnings, so back in the Caribbean to North America, from being in the dishwashing unit and becoming master in that and becoming the best at that, regardless of how people might look at that, right? Mastering that, to being able to have your name on your own restaurant, have your name on the as executive chef, have your name on the billboard, have from all of that, and you talk about the grind, you talked about the importance of knowing yourself and understanding what you want, having an end goal in sight, right? Having an end goal in sight, because that's going to help you navigate the ups and downs that happens within the workforce. There's going to be times when you're going to be stereotyped. There's going to be times when you're going to face obstacles and hurdles. But if you have an end goal in mind, it's easier for you to navigate those things. If you don't know what you want, it's easier to get pushed and swayed by anybody, right? But you have that end goal in mind. You have what you want to accomplish. And just like you said, you still have to be realistic about your goals and how you plant them and how you seed them. But realistically, anything that you set out to do that is realistic and within the margins, you can do, right? You're not limited. We're not put in a box in what we can achieve. We can achieve whatever we set our minds to. And so with that being said, I want you to finish this sentence for me. So being more than an athlete, more than an entertainer means what to you?
More than an athlete, more than an entertainer means your inner ability is one of the greatest things you can have. What I mean by that is what you have inside of you, nobody else have and nobody else can see. My ability was to create my life for myself. So they say, to be rich or successful in this North America is entertaining, being in sports, right? Selling drugs, right? So for me is the ability to have your inner knowledge of yourself. I think that's the key right there. Your purpose in life is to be the best that you can be and to bring out your best ability. My best ability was cooking in terms of what I can provide for society. So for me is you have to find what you love, that you can make money from it. But if you're not making money from it, you can still be happy doing it. I cook at home for my family every day, and I'm happy doing it. I'm not making money from it. Right? So, it's most importantly is that selfishness about you. You need to have. You need to have that in you, so you can, when you're doing certain things, you can feel a way where you're like, yeah, that is the shit, because I did it for myself, right? And I didn't go through a route where for me to, someone to look up to me, I have to be a sports athlete or entertainer, back to the whole conversation. So it's just, there's things, for example, Devon, you're a producer. I never know he could produce. I just know he was working for the government, then he started taking pictures, and then he was doing, wedding photos. Next thing I know, he's producing. I'm like, producing what? Movie. I'm like, movie? Because if you already know, for me, it was like, it wasn't, not to say I didn't believe it, but it was more like, what kind of movies is it? Like a little short film? I know he had told me one time he did a short film. So in my head, a little short film, not realizing that he just branched out into something that he did that was inside of him that he probably didn't know was there. And it came out when he started doing his photography for weddings. And then all of a sudden now, look what he's doing, right? He has the inability to do that. I guarantee you back in the day, probably he didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a chef. But the reason I became a chef, because I dropped out of school, doing electronics, and my mom got the OSAP loan. So I had to pay back the OSAP loan. So I went for a job fair downtown and ended up getting a job as a dishwasher at the CN Tower, and boom. So if I didn't drop out of school, what would have happened? Or say me in school, doing electronics, whatever the case is, boring life, sit down, would have been fat like a cow, just saying, no, I can't do that. I'm an active being. My personality is active, right? This personality is probably creative in a certain aspect, right? I was always good with my hands. So just using that example of him is he had that inner skill that he probably didn't know he had, because he probably wanted to do something else. And all of a sudden, what he wanted to do ended up in working out well for whatever reason. Now, what he thought wasn't even in his head, now he's the master of it. right? So sometimes your hidden talent is hidden for a reason. You don't know it's there, but your hidden talent was hidden for a reason, and that's what happened to me by accident. It just came out. I don't know how it came out for him because I cannot explain that. Same with you. You playing football, and that's all you know, right? You had a talent for social media. You have a talent for interviewing. You had a talent for doing all of that podcast. So, and then it came out, however way it came out. It came out now. I know when you started, it was kind of nervous. And am I speaking well? Is it loud enough? Do I look this? Now it's the routine. All right, let's go. What's next? You can do 5 podcasts in a day because you have your routine. You know how to sit properly, your shoulder, your voice. So it's just having the ability to understand, most importantly, that there's something inside of you. It comes back from our African ancestors. Maybe one of my ancestors was a top chef in the field in Africa, right? And
cooking up them gazelles and
cooking up anything, right? And it passed down from generation and generation. So your idea from what you see out there, you might think, oh, that's what's going to be me, or what's going to be good for me because of what I see my friend doing or everybody else doing. But your inner talent is inside for a reason. And it will come out when it's time to come out. And that's what happened to me.
No, I love that. And I think that's a great way to end. And so, David, I want to thank you again.
You're welcome.
Chef David, Thank you again for coming and sharing your story, because I think it's going to be a great story that's going to inspire a lot of different youth out there to see what is possible, to see your story and to see the obstacles and the things that you would have gone through, and to see how you still navigated those stereotypes and push past those to achieve what you achieved, right? So I want to thank you for that. That's going to be a wrap for our episode 1 of Be More Than an Athlete, More Than Entertainer, Debunking the Stereotype.